On the God Rock Show, we're talking to the brother and sisters of Cain, Logan, Madison and Taylor. Welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you guys.
Let's start with a controversial statement. Homeschooled kids. Discuss.
Discuss.
I thought you were going to say like a statement like homeschool kids are weird. Discuss.
You said
You
it.
said
I
it.
said it on him.
No, it's
Freudian slip there.
You know, it's so wild. I'll be like hanging out with somebody and we're just like getting all the same references and we're just gelling and I find out later they're homeschooled. I'm like, oh, you're a little weird like me.
You picked
like,
it, yeah.
Yeah, there's like a little...
There certainly was a line of demarcation when we were growing up. There were two types of homeschooler, and we thought we were the cool half of the group, and so we would all, of course, get together and gossip about the non-cool side at homeschool skate day. For a little irony for you there, all the homeschoolers.
What was it like learning from home? Like, who was your teacher? Was it your mum or dad? Or
It was both.
Yeah,
we truly got help from
Our dad
both.
is like he's a pastor, but he was an engineer. So fifth grade, we're learning like algebra.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Getting in, and then my mom is a genius, and so she taught everything else, English. And
Gosh, I don't mean to go on forever, but now there's all this, there are online programs, and our mom made our lesson plans. She kept everything meticulously referenced and recorded. Like,
Now I think it's easy.
It was crazy, yeah.
But we would have little tubs and have our books in them, and you would read the pages, do the problems. We would be done in 3 hours. And so when we went into public school. I feel like that's
high
something
school.
that makes us a little bit different as we were half homeschooled.
Yeah.
And
Hybrid.
And then all that self-esteem just gets crushed.
Absolutely. Well, I find with people that I know that are homeschooled is that you don't get teased at home. So it's a different world. So you're oblivious to put downs and things like that. You know what I mean?
I'll never forget. I was like crying in the bathroom because I found out that one of my friends was talking about me behind my back, and I had never experienced someone like maybe someone being mean to me.
Your face.
Yeah, but never like someone being sweet. Like, oh, she makes fun of me when I don't.
Yeah, well, at home, why would you waste a put down at home? You say it straight to the heart.
That's right. Get to the point.
Don't waste it.
Yeah, my first day in public school, I saw a kid leave the class and go to the bathroom, and I saw that he took the trash cans like his hall pass. So when he came back, I just got up and did the same. My teacher followed me, and they're like, "Where are you going?" I'm like, "The bathroom." Obviously, I'd never asked anybody to go anywhere in my life. I was like, "What do you mean? Why'd you follow me?"
Same thing.
Yeah.
I just got up and left, and the teacher was freaking out, and I'm like, I thought it'd be more disruptive for me to ask you. You're teaching. Let me just sneak out.
I'm doing your job here.
So that was honestly the first realization was like when you go to public school, the adults don't give
trust
you the benefit of the
you,
doubt. They don't trust you. So I didn't bring my homework. I'm like, oh, I left it at home. I did it. I left it at home. And they're like, oh, sure you did. I'm like, no, this is the first time.
Yeah.
Someone doesn't believe you.
So was music a big part of family growing up? I mean, did you do it in school at home with your parents? Like, did you have music lessons?
It's so funny. It's like it wasn't part of the curriculum, but it was so much a part of our lives, and I kind of love that more because it's almost like growing up, you do have this like, you don't like things that you're made to do, I suppose. And then so our dad recorded music, made an album. He actually made several albums all through our lives. And so, I don't know, he was like the only artist I knew. And I was sort of like, Dad writes songs and he records them and that's cool. But I was a drummer first, so I didn't sing much.
To get into music.
So I took piano lessons, and reading music was like really challenging, but somehow we just kind of formed this little band, and we would play with our dad on Sundays. So that's really how it started. But I do feel like music was always in our house. I remember when we were kids, Stephen Curtis Chapman was always on a record player, and we were like listening to Amy Grant, Michael W. Smith. So it's pretty cool to have met.
There's something really tight and intuitive about playing with your brothers and sisters though as well. Like you just get each other, you know, who's going to do what next.
And if they aren't doing it right, we just kind of fight like
That's
we
right.
said. We're like, all right, that
Get
was
to the
flat.
point.
Here we go.
Need to put down.
Try it again. But I guess some people, it doesn't go well with your siblings, and I'm really thankful that like we have like a
it's been
bond.
great.
I think I'm not ever worried about us splitting up.
You guys sort of got discovered through a singing contest, didn't you?
Yeah. So I feel like our journey has been what comes naturally versus what gets refined. And so we realized in college that there was these natural harmony parts that we would hear, and that would just, and it wasn't even until later in life, we'd be in the worship band, or I might sing some harmony, but it was like, oh, we can do this 3-part thing. we entered a contest and we got to open for Dave Barnes, and so we were voted to win all this stuff. And it's really cool because a couple weeks ago he had us over to record something
We
that
sang
he was
on
working
on his new record, yeah.
And it really is like, man, the difference between what we thought was great natural harmony then versus what we've learned
and cultivated.
Yeah, right.
to cultivate over the past 10 years.
You've had millions of streams. Do you pinch yourself when you go, that many people have listened to our stuff?
Tell
Yes.
what happened yesterday.
Yesterday I was just walking, my husband and I, on Main Street in St. Louis. I don't even know where I am. And we were walking to dinner, and this guy on a bike with a really loud speaker comes by. And you know when you're like, that sounds like my voice. Sure enough, it was my song and this man. And we have eye contact for so long.
Divine
like, he almost
appointment.
wrecked the bike. It was just like, this guy's choosing to listen to me. I don't know.
Yeah.
who
It's
this
like the
guy
Truman
is.
Show.
Yeah.
It's like some guy in your life
You didn't stop him and tell him, though, did you?
No, I
stuck
didn't.
a stick in his front tire and flipped
But
him
I
over
sure
his
didn't
bike.
stare long enough that I'm sure he was like, what the heck? What am I doing wrong?
Well, I made a promise to myself early on. The first time I heard myself on the radio, I made a promise that if I ever catch it on the radio, I will stay and listen. I'll never switch away in the middle of our song because I don't want to take it for granted. I don't want to stop and think, oh, well, they should play that because we're whatever. We don't deserve this. You know what I mean? We truly, what we deserve is to have quit music when we wanted to and to be doing other things and living in other states. But God really held us together and opened doors for us. So when I hear that song on the radio, when I hear anything on the radio, I stop and I just am thankful.
What's the message of Cain? What was, from the start when you got together and thought, okay, we're going to do this?
We're doing this.
Oh man,
I
the
think
message has changed.
The
huh?
message has changed, but I will say this is something that, as I've met more people, that I feel like is unique to our family, is that we were taught about victory in Jesus, meaning that we would not even be allowed as kids to say, I'm scared to death, because there's life in the power of the tongue. So I feel like our songs, the thing that ties them together is that not only are you saved through the power of Jesus Christ, but you are healed, delivered, protected, provided for, overcoming, blessed.
Life and life to the full.
Life and life to the fullest. So not that we can't feel those sad emotions, but I hope that there is like an overcoming thing to it.
What impact are you seeing with your songs? I mean, some guy's riding a bike down the street, playing your music. What impact are you seeing and hearing with the music you're producing?
It's insane.
Yes, things as simple as This Brightened My Day to something as extreme as a man's wife came up to us at a music festival last summer, was telling us a story about how her husband was not supposed to survive, and they would go, this about makes me cry, they would go to the parking lot, their whole family, and they would hold radios up in the air and play Rise Up so he could hear it through the windows of his hospital room. And he walked around the corner and shook my hand. I met him. He was not supposed to live, and he lived. Now, I'm not saying our song did that, but somebody attached God's miracle power to something we wrote. It's incredible.
How do you share Jesus with our viewers? I mean, you've obviously grown up with a love for Christ. And what do you say to someone that doesn't know God like we do?
Gosh.
He knows you.
He does know you.
He knows you.
Gosh, I just hope that if you've ever thought about it before, you've had an inkling of there's got to be more to this life, seek it out. Maybe you find a Bible and maybe you're like, what is this? What does a Bible verse mean? Maybe do that extra step and just ask God to help you if you want to understand it. But Jesus is real, and this isn't something that is just a joke. There are so many millions of people who base everything about their life on the man and God.
Yeah,
Jesus
gosh,
Christ.
we say it when we sing our song, The Commission. Madison will say sometimes, if this was not real, how did it get here? Yeah. Jesus didn't live here. We didn't know him, but people saw him and believed enough to base and give their entire life to it, on and on generation. And here we are, and something that fake could not survive the test of time. So that, and then I just heard it this weekend, and it's one of my favorite quotes ever, but it says, not only does God know you, but he likes you. And not only does he like you, but he's incredibly fond of you. And I think that if you don't know who Jesus is, not only does he know you, he likes you, and he's incredibly fond of you, and he wants to know you.
What's it like being on tour with your sisters when you're the youngest?
Aha! Well, I will say that I think a shift happened probably about 7 years ago now. We were touring and we were in London, and that was the first time that I felt like I became Big Brother. And I don't always do a great job, but I do feel so protective over these two that I don't ever feel like anybody's looking down on me. I feel like I'm in charge. If we're gonna get in trouble, I'm in trouble. So
We do try to boss you around a lot.
that's fine.
Something that
It worked for the Cause, when the Cause used to travel around with their brother, you know?
I think that one thing that we've gotten wrong is that we are so similar that we try to make each other identical. So like we already like so many of the same things. That if anyone likes something that the other two don't, we're like, you should change that. It's like, no, like we can have differences. So I feel like we're getting better at being like, anytime Logan would get mad, I'm like, don't be mad. Now I'm like, oh wait, it's okay. You can
Dude,
get mad.
well,
You know, like,
regardless of birth order, we have had to learn to take our medicine because we are so fortunate that there are only 3 of us, because that means there is a 2 against 1 vote that
Every
exists.
time. Every time.
And if you get voted down, you take your medicine and you move on. And we've had to learn.
I'm more of the school of the eldest gets the final vote. But I'm the eldest child, so.
I will say I'm really thankful that I'm doing this with them.
Yeah.
Like it just wouldn't work being solo. I almost feel like the 3 of us form this superhuman personality, and we bring out the best. They definitely bring out the best in me.
We definitely are separate thirds of one artist. I think if one of us was sitting in this chair, we would be so sorely missing the other 2 thirds. And so we're good for you.
People are struggling, watching at home right now. What's your message of encouragement for people watching the God Rock Show?
The God Rock Show. Well, keep watching the God Rock Show.
Keep watching the God
What a
Rock
great
show because
maybe tell somebody.
bringing life. If you're struggling, yeah, that's good.
Tell somebody. I think that whenever you're struggling, that's what you don't want to do the most, is to reach out, send a text, or just let somebody know. Let somebody know that can either point you to Jesus or just be with you, go for a walk. Yeah. Just take one step. I think that's our song "Rise Up" is like, sometimes rising up is a big thing, or sometimes it's like, okay, you want to just not get out of bed, but maybe just take one walk around the neighborhood.
One try. Yeah.